Hello, I'm Julian Best and I'm the Deputy Director here, and also I was involved with the history project here in our new Planetarium and Science Centre. I was asked to take on this role primarily because I was very interested in this underground structure that we have here that we inherited in 2014, and there was always a plan to turn it into a science centre and to make use of the reservoir, and I have a great interest in fantastic Victorian structures, especially underground structures. So I was particularly interested in this structure, and then I was asked if I could help research the history and put on this display we have here to tell the story of the reservoir, why it's here, what its purpose was, and how Sherwood Observatory came to be in it. As part of the history project, I decided, why don't we have a time capsule? Because I'd seen I'd seen Blue Peter over the years when I grew up, and they had time capsules, and I thought it would be quite fitting because what we do here is a lot of STEM, science, technology, engineering and maths, and I thought, wouldn't it be a great idea to bring all that together and put some of that in the time capsule to capture not only what the members were doing at this present day, but go out to the local schools and talk to the local children, because they are hopefully going to be here when the time capsule is opened in October 2086. So we asked them their future predictions, and hopefully they will come back to the opening ceremony, which we will hopefully hold on the 5th of October 2086. And when the capsule is opened, we can see, or they can see, whether their predictions were correct. So I thought it would be very important to have this time capsule. And so over the last few months, many members have come together and decided what to put in it and how we're going to structure it, what we're going to do with the chamber. And then ultimately today, which is the final ceremony to dedicate the capsule into the chamber, sealed, ready for 2086. The founder members book has gone in there. Lots of things to do with the build, actual physical build of this place. We have time-lapse cameras running, so we've put all the time lapses in, and things of the time. So obviously we've just got over the COVID era. So one member suggested to remind people what we went through just a few years ago, which was relevant to the society because it affected our operations here during COVID. So a member suggested we put a COVID test in. It's unused because obviously we don't want 2020 pathogens coming out in 2086. But it's just to show the history, a snapshot history of your recent times. That was just before the build started. In the capsule, because there's always a chance that there's going to be some water that comes into the capsule because we are in an old reservoir, remember, and we didn't want the capsule itself to sit right on the ground. And who wants a boring time capsule? So because we're very creative at Sherwood Observatory, we decided to build a Lego base. And the capsule sits on the Lego base, just a few centimetres up, and supports it because we don't want it rolling around. We want it to nicely sit in its chamber, and it's just a surprise when they open it in 2086 to see the model. We've put some models in, and it's just a nice finish because also today, when everyone comes and looks down the hole, they didn't just look down a bare hole. They saw a creative Lego set effectively, ready to accept the capsule, and it works spot on, perfectly engineered as you would expect. I'd like to thank my team. There's been a dedicated members of my team that have helped with the capsule. We sealed the capsule itself just on Friday because it needed about 48 hours to set. So we were, hurriedly packing everything and sealing everything. So I had a dedicated team for that. Obviously, our founding members, because if it weren't for our founding members, none of this would be happening. And who knows what would happen to this reservoir? It may have even been filled in, which would have been a terrible shame. Centre manager Tony Booth, who's done a fantastic job today in facilitating this. In fact, it's his day off, so he's coming early on his day off, so thank you, Tony, for that. Dr. Steve Wallace, MBE, he's been instrumental behind this whole project for the Planetarium and Science Centre, and I've worked with him very closely on this project. And it was, in fact, the conversation that myself and Steve had right at the beginning about a time capsule, and we discussed some ideas about involving the children, asking their predictions. I mean, hopefully the children will come back and see if their predictions came true. So I want to thank him. And finally, High Sheriff, very important today. We had our VIP High Sheriff come down and effectively dedicate the chamber dedicate the capsule into the chamber.